I mean, I've seen all kinds of statistics and data about how most people in my generation are never going to afford or never going to be able to own a home, never really be able to own anything. I mean, we're definitely going towards a renter's society. Um, Corporations buying up houses that our parents or our parents' parents would have bought 15, 20 years ago for six six raspberries and $2 bills, and now they're $500,000. So it doesn't make any sense to me. If this is the first video you're seeing by me, my name is Will. I go by Thorge online, um, and this is going to be a little bit more of a serious video. So if you are here for goofy gaming, funny content, I've got plenty of that on the channel. You can go check that out. Feel free. Um, but this is going to get into talking about my understanding of housing, renting, and really, I just don't know what my generation is supposed to do. I just don't understand. And I'm not saying that as like trying to. I'm not trying to get sympathy here. Just a couple things I want to get out the gate. Like, um, I'm a white dude in America. Come on. I I understand that I have at least some level of privilege. Um, and I I'm just trying to figure out, like, if I'm struggling this hard to find somewhere to live, what are people that are worse off than me doing? Are you living with 3 or 4 people in like a 2-person house? Like, I went on 4 apartment tours yesterday, and keep in mind, I work a decent office job, full time, decent office job, 2 degrees in IT. None of the places that I looked at would even let me apply because I didn't make the income requirement of 3 times the monthly rent. Most of these places were $3, $4, $500 a month cheaper just 2 years ago. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm not at risk of going homeless or anything like that. I mean, I don't have parents in my life. That I just don't. That's not a thing for me. I'm not some trust fund kid or anything like that, but I'm recognizing that I do have a little bit of privilege. I do live in America. I recognize that. But I still I don't have any money like sitting aside or anything. And I work full time. All my money goes towards my bills basically. Um, what is everyone else doing? I don't understand. Um, at this point, the only place I'm gonna be able to live in, like, I might have to move like 45 minutes to an hour away from the city that I work in just to be able to afford rent. And most of the places I looked at yesterday that I don't meet the income requirement for are not even in decent neighborhoods. Like, very high crime rate, just not great areas, and I still don't meet the income requirement to even apply there. It's driving me nuts. And I don't want this video to sound tone deaf in any way. I do recognize, like, I'm a white dude in America. I get it. But that's kind of exactly my point. Like, if I'm struggling this hard, what is everyone else doing? How is everyone else surviving out there, paying rent? Groceries are 40, 50% higher than they were 3 years ago. Everybody's rent went up $200 to $400 just between last year's lease and this year's lease. And now they're going up hundreds more, but wages have stayed the same. What are we doing? What are we doing? What do we need to do? I don't understand. I'm not getting into politics. Um, I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, in the middle. Libertarian doesn't matter to me. We should all be against. We should all be against this. We should be against corporations buying up single family homes, making them cost $150,000, $200,000 later investing in people's houses and causing people to go homeless, causing people to not be able to meet their rent. Why are we letting corporations buy up all of these homes, all of these apartment complexes, and then just doubling the price because they own everything? If you own, I mean, I've taken basic economic classes, right? Supply and demand. If corporations come in, if they sweep in a city or a small town, and if they buy up all the houses, they can charge basically whatever price they want because they own the supply. It's a monopoly. This is simple econ, guys. Why are we letting this happen? Why are we not like going to our representatives and demanding change? Like, I've heard individual Democratic and individual Republican, like I've heard it from both sides. Like, we need to stop corporations buying up all this property because it's just raising prices, but no one's actually doing anything about it. No one's actually, and I don't know if they're like, if the representatives are like scared. I know that they're kind of owned by the money, and owned by like Blackstone and these big investment groups and stuff. I mean, I'm not ignorant to that. Politicians do whatever the investors are paying them to say. I mean, I understand that. I get that, but like, what are we supposed to do if the only people who can enact laws to stop this are bought by the people who are profiting off of this? What is my generation supposed to do? Like, what are 20 somethings right now supposed to do? My friends, almost everybody that I know is either living with 4 other people in a house, or they're living with their parents because they can't even touch rent around here with a 10-foot pole. And I live in Kentucky. I don't live in Miami. I don't live in Los Angeles. I don't live in New York. I don't live in Chicago. I live in Kentucky. And no one can afford rent. I don't get it. I don't understand. Please, somebody write in the comments here. Help me figure this out. Because if I'm struggling, I don't know what people who are worse off than me are doing. I don't understand. Are you living with 4 people in a 2-bedroom house? What are we supposed to do? I had to get on here. I had to rant a little bit because I've been looking for housing for well over a week now. I'm going to spend my whole weekend looking for housing, calling around places. But I might have to move. I might have to move like I said, an hour away from my job just to be able to live, just to be able to have a place that I can sleep in. And my standards aren't super high, guys. I have 2 standards right now, right? I'm not going to get shot there, and there's not an active bug infestation. Those are my 2 standards. I'm not looking for a gated community. I can't even look at that stuff. I'm nowhere near that amount of money. I need no current bug infestation, and I'm not going to get shot or broken into this place on the first night that I live there. Those are my only 2 standards here, guys. The standards are the floor. And the places that meet those standards want the amount that I make in a month for rent. Because you have to have, or more than that, because you have to have 3 times your monthly rent in income. So if you're trying to rent at a place that's $1,500 or $2,000, you need to make $4,500 or $6,000 a month before you can even apply. I can't even apply to these places. I can't apply to places that are in not safe, not even okay to live in neighborhoods. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't understand. I think my generation's kind of fucked. I mean, I've seen all kinds of statistics and data about how Most people in my generation are never going to afford or never going to be able to own a home, never really be able to own anything. I mean, we're definitely going towards a renter society. You know, corporations buying up houses that our parents or our parents' parents would have bought 15, 20 years ago for six raspberries and $2 bills, and now they're $500,000. So it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. My grandma bought her house for like a sheep and a bushel of apples, and I'm sitting here like I would have to work full time, 3 jobs to be able to live in a place that I'm not like actually like scared to live in. Um, just to have a bed and 500 and like 700 square feet. That's all I'm asking for. One of the places I called yesterday. This is not. It's not. It's. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a call. One of the places I called yesterday. This is not a new building, by the way. It's not. It's not new construction. 15-year-old, 20-year-old apartments. They wanted. They wanted $1,460 a month. That's just rent. There's hundreds and hundreds of fees and utilities and everything else on top of that. They wanted $1,460 for 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 500 square feet. 500 square feet. Am I in New York? I live in Kentucky. We've never seen renting prices like this. Ever. This is almost double what it was pre-COVID. Double. Like, but wages are the same. I'm still making basically the same amount. I'm at a different job, but I'm making basically the same amount. Most of my friends are making the same amount that they were making 2, 3, 4 years ago. But rent has more than doubled. What's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know what to do. So please enlighten me. If you're around my age, mid-20s, your early 20s, late 20s, somewhere in there, fresh out of college, I would love to hear what you're doing. Not exact numbers. I'm not trying to get your address or anything, but just what is the situation like for renting in your state? What is your opinion on this? I really want to know. Because I'm barely scraping by here, guys. I'm barely scraping by. And I know most of the people I know are barely scraping by. We're not helping our people. The government is not helping its people right now. And I don't know what else to say. Without getting super into politics, either side, whatever, doesn't matter. I don't care. Everybody should be against this. Far left, far right, in the middle, you should be against this. You should want affordable homes. You should want affordable rent. If you don't want those things, I don't know what you do want. But that's it. That's it for this rant. I've said my piece. I don't normally make content like this. I do a lot of game development and just some like funny clips from when I get to relax at 8 p.m. after work. So feel free to check those out. But otherwise, I've said my piece. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully with something a little more lighthearted. Okay, so I've got Paint opened up here, guys. Let's do a little bit of math. Let's do a little bit of math here, guys. So we live in Kentucky, not even a state that is known to have very high housing costs anyways, right? This isn't New York or Chicago or Florida or anything like that. Just state in the Midwest should have pretty low housing costs compared to everywhere else in America, right? We have a minimum wage of $7.25. And when the minimum wage was first enacted, it was supposed to be the minimum wage that a person could live on, right? Obviously, that hasn't been the case for years. But there are tons of places that still hire around here for $7.25 to $8 an hour. Now, The cheapest, absolute cheapest, one bed, one bath apartments that I could find were around $950 to $1,000. That's the absolute cheapest. Like, you're going to have bugs. You're going to live on, like, some of the most dangerous streets in the state for $1,000 a month. So you know what? We're not going to calculate that. We're going to do 1,100. Maybe you're a couple blocks away. This is still very, very like some of the cheapest housing you're going to get in the state, or at least in my area of the state. 1,100 a month. Now, most of these places are owned by big corporations that require you to have an income of 3 times your monthly rate, which means the 1,100, by the way, that's not including your water, your gas, your electric, internet, anything. No utilities at all. No utilities at all. Base rent, no pet fees, nothing. 1,100 a month. So all these corporations, they want you to have 3 times the amount of your monthly rent to even apply, to even meet the income requirements to apply. So obviously 1,100 times 3 equals 3,300. Now, I'm going to pull out a calculator real quick, and we're going to see how many hours you'd have to work at minimum wage to be able to even qualify. 7.25 times we're going to do 3,300, because that's the total amount you need to apply, divided by 7.25. And that equals 455.2. So you have to work 455 hours in a month to even be able to apply to the cheapest one bed, one bath apartments. Now, let's figure this out, right? So we've got 455 hours, 455.2, and we're going to divide this by 4 weeks in a month. So you would have to work on minimum wage to afford the cheapest one bed, one bath apartments in a 40-mile radius of me. You would have to work 113.8 hours per week. So almost 3 full-time jobs at our minimum wage to meet the rent, the cheapest rent for a one bed, one bath apartment. This is why a lot of people my age are living with 3 and 4 people in 2-bedroom apartments. We're not going a good direction, guys. We're not. This is dystopian. We're getting closer and closer to some dystopian future where you don't own anything you watch, you rent it all. You don't own anything. You don't own your car, you rent your car. You can't live somewhere that you own. You have to rent that too. You have to rent everything. And if you don't meet those requirements, there's not really a whole lot. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're just supposed to be houseless? Are you just supposed to be houseless and not have a car and not be able to afford food? This just is not. We're getting closer and closer to where you have to rent everything. And even renting is going to cost you an arm and a leg, and you're going to have 2 times as many people as what that apartment's built for. Yeah. So obviously this video is not scripted at all. I'm stumbling over my words and stuff, but I'm just frustrated, guys. This doesn't make any sense. I didn't go to school for 5 years to not be able to afford rent. What the hell are we doing?